All right. What the hell is going on, everybody? We are here. It is the upper bracket of the LiuLi, I should say, 2024 final. SERRAL on the bottom left side of the map, having a rematch from last week. That's right, last week he played against MAXPAX in the top right. They played twice in the Masters Coliseum playoffs, and it was a back and forth match. Suffice to say, at the end of it all, SERRAL did come out on top and conquered his recent Zerg vs Protoss Demons. We'll see if he can continue that here. Now, this is going to be, of course, the Extractor Trick into 15 Overlord. This is the new common build in PvZ. I know a lot of people don't watch every single cast I do, so I know I'm explaining this a lot. If you watch everything, you're sick of me talking about this build. But he comes down because he didn't see a probe coming in with either his Overlord, which he'd moved out front his base before moving across the map, or his drone. He built a 16th drone, and it's a normal 16 hatchery opening, but it is a little more efficient because you get those early 2 drones out much faster than with a 13 Overlord. By going straight to 15 drones, you have tons of workers mining on minerals super early, and whilst it delays the Overlord a fair bit, it actually gets the hatchery and everything else down a little faster. You can see here, spawning pool's normally about a minute 13. It's a minute 11 with this build. This is one of the maps with the very nice mineral formation to make it efficient, but nonetheless a very clean opening. Now on the other side, MAXPAX not a fan of gas first. He's just gone gateway gas, but he's doing it with a no scout build. Now I do think gas first is the better build order myself, but MAXPAX has his own way of playing. You know, I was speaking recently to Harstam about how it was really weird how MAXPAX refuses to play Nexus before core in PvT. And I was like, isn't this way better? Because these maps are a bit bigger than the last map pool. It's easier to defend Reapers, and you've also got faster building Stalkers. You've got, you know, the unlimited scouting you get now off the early game with early sentries and things. Isn't Nexus first something he should be mixing in there? And why aren't more Protoss players doing that? And Harstam told me that basically all the Protoss pros have swapped to mostly a Nexus before core opening most of the time in the PvT matchup, but MAXPAX is the one guy who does that. So it doesn't surprise me. I know that's a discussion about a different matchup, but it doesn't surprise me that MAXPAX is also thinking, well, I'm just going to do PvZ my own way as well. He has his own unique understanding. This is the guy who invented the MAXPAX opening as a 13-year-old and kind of, you know, completely changed PvT meta for a while there. And he just kind of has his own way of playing the game. Now, playing greedy always is very good against SERRAL, and I think he looked really good in the late game, or let's say early late game of his previous series. But I think it's the end game where SERRAL just was so patient, so good. And I think one of the big things I pointed out was that MAXPAX was very good at splitting his army to 2 sides of the map and kind of harassing SERRAL. But at some point, he needed to group up, take the center of the map, and siege him down. And that's something he didn't really ever do in his series. And because of that, SERRAL was able to sometimes isolate sections of his army and jump on them and start bullying MAXPAX, right? And SERRAL really started to use his movement in a superior way to dominate the map. Now check this out. Look at that. The Overlord sneaks in. The Stalker's out here looking for the Overlord on the pillar. Little does he realize it's actually right here in the main base, and he's going to try and hide. Adept does come in at the same time. Doesn't really get anything. Oh, yes, it does. Early creep tumor snipe. Now, he still doesn't know about the Overlord. Now he sees it up there, and he goes, oh, what the heck? Now, SERRAL, I think he can get that out. If he goes up and to the right and then towards that dead space, Stalker's not going to be able to get that in time, so the Overlord's going to get out. He even sees the third base, and this is the masterful play of SERRAL, spotting the third base, seeing everything that goes on. Spore Crawler in the main. Spore goes up in the natural as well, and the Overlord is going to escape out there to this nice little noxious gas area of space. Oracle number 1 comes in, finds itself an empty base. This is standard at the moment, right? Hover over the base, try to either get rid of the lava as it pops out, or go for those units as they eject from the eggs. But 2 queens arrive at the perfect time, and they are going to push the Oracle away. Now, second Oracle is out. You can see he's coming forward now. He's refilled that one with energy, whereas the first one he didn't bother. Third Nexus, 2/3 of the way done. Double gas on the natural. Twilight and Forge goes up in the main. These are all very standard things. Oracle tried to go back in there, but he loses all of his shields. It's a distraction, though. It's all to allow the other Oracle to come in from the other side. It does get 2 drones. Very nicely done. That's what he does so expertly, isn't it? I think SERRAL saw it coming with this Overlord up here, but he was just a bit slow to react. So SERRAL needs to be a bit quicker than that. 2 drones do go down, as well as a few Zerglings. SERRAL's been pretty adamant about breaking these rocks on the gold base on this map. I mean, it's a nice 6th base location. I don't really like it as a 4th or 5th, as it is extremely exposed to being sieged from behind the minerals. +1 and blink on the way, as well as a 3rd and 4th gate. No surprises there for MAXPAX. Here we go. Oracles going to be coming in from the south side. Queens, push them back. Goes towards the main base, but another queen and a spore crawl already. SERRAL's positioning so good. And Adepts are going to move out. Shading north, but he cancels the shade. Knowing he's being spotted, doesn't want to risk it. Oracle takes damage down here as it pulls away from those queens, cutting it off in the retreat. 6 gate coming up for MAXPAX. He's going to build a pylon on the left to spot for any Nidus worms. Oracle's once again denying the Zerglings on the rocks. MAXPAX making it hard for SERRAL to clear that up, and SERRAL's going to go for a very regular 4th base in front of his 3rd. 2 Adepts on the left watchtower, just chilling. Evo Chamber and Hydra Den. Hydra Den coming in very early. What I love about SERRAL's play recently, guys, is he's not a fan of the Roach, but he will always build the Roach Warren. So a lot of players, right, you'll see Rogue just flip a coin and say, I hope my opponent doesn't kill me with something that I would need Roaches to defend, because he'll skip the Roach Warren entirely, right? Many of his games. But SERRAL, on the other hand, is like, no, I will build the Roach Warren, but I'm not going to make Roach speed unless I have a good reason to. I'm going to try and rush to those Hydras, because if I can defend the Stalkers with Hydra Ling, that's going to give me the smoothest path to shutting down the Stalkers efficiently. Overseer Scouts the main. We can see, of course, 6 gases going down. Did SERRAL see the 6 gas? No, not yet. But this Zergling's going to come in. His scouting is just so good. SERRAL all over it right now. Infestation Pit starts up in the natural. Stalker and Oracle coming forward. 7 Hydras, 8 Hydras on the way. And notice he goes Muscular Augments first. Movement speed always taking the priority for SERRAL, as he's realized being able to jump on these Stalkers and chase them down a little bit is more important than having +1 range. On this map, you only have one direction you can go on this alley. There's no real side lanes. It's just there's a lane in the north and a lane in the south. 2 Hydras and a Queen pulling back. Along with the drones, they should be able to clean that up, assuming the drones do turn and fight, and indeed they do. At the same time, Zerglings are breaching their natural wall, or trying to, but the Stalker Warpin stops it. Stalkers on the front of the 4th base at the same time. They're going to be doing damage to the hatchery. The Zerglings and Queens taking some losses, but as the rest of the units come back, that could be big. There's still another stasis trap down the bottom. SERRAL, does he see it? He sets it off and actually gets his Zergling out of there without even getting hit by the stasis trap. MAXPAX using up a lot of his energy. You can see the spread on the Zerglings, just how effective SERRAL is with that micro. Deactivating those stasis traps better than anyone else in the game right now. Hydra Ling coming forward. A few of the Lings poke forward. They set off the stasis trap. Only 2 of them get frozen. Lings on top of the Stalkers. Lovely move for SERRAL as he starts to shut them down. But does he go a bit too far forward here? The stasis trap does punish him. He's going to have to pull back. Groove Spine's on the way. It's just started. +1 range almost finished. He did skip +1 melee. Been saying for a while those range upgrades more important than those melee upgrades. Zerglings, yeah, it helps getting a +1 melee, but the range upgrade helps your Hydras, helps your Lurkers. And as the game gets bigger, that is usually going to be the things that are more consistently dealing damage. Melee is very nice for run-bys and that sort of stuff, but it does rely on your opponent kind of getting caught out of position a little bit. Good Stalker micro for MAXPAX. We can see the units lost tab is still 2-1 in his favor, but every Stalker that goes down, a big win for SERRAL. Zerglings in the north, remember, no melee upgrade, so this sort of situation, not as good for SERRAL as it would be if he'd committed to melee. And actually, he does start the melee upgrade now as a big commitment of Zerglings and a few Hydras to that north side. Slow Zealot's no match for these Hydras. Hydras normally very afraid of getting jumped on, but not in that scenario. A bunch of Hydras and things getting frozen down the bottom by the stasis trap, and MAXPAX blinks forward, gets himself a bonus Hydra. That seems like good value until you realize that his army is way out of position, and this northern nexus gets cancelled. Ling Hydra finding a value, and of course, he pulls back. South side stasis traps down there, but there's not really too many of those left. How many Oracles we got left, guys? Still the 2. Didn't lose any this game. Units lost tab still in the favor overall of Mr. MAXPAX, but 3 bases, Stalker Storm, not a bad style. Then you look at SERRAL's side and you go, well, SERRAL's starting to go to 7 gas. I would expect an 8th gas for him soon as well. 2 Vipers, Adrenal Glands, +1 melee, and the Lurker Den coming in. I think what I found most fascinating about SERRAL's style and what he's been making work is he is finding a way to go for a Ling Hydra style, and he is often beating Protoss with the heavy Zerglings. Like, the secret to his style is, yes, I know Storm beats Zerglings, but I'm going to spread my Zerglings out and jump on your High Templar so quickly you have to kind of panic Storm. That's not a great example, but if he comes in from 2 or 3 sides, as he often does, and shimmies around and kind of dodges a few of those Storms, just like that, you see? Baits a Storm, doesn't really take it. If he can come around from multiple sides, it could be good. Unfortunately for him, the stasis traps are keeping him back, but he's baiting Storm. Zealots coming in from the left side as well. They're going to hit that hatchery. Stalkers blink forward, get themselves a morphing Lurker, throws another Storm, but every time a Storm goes down, you can see so many Storms are actually needed because of his micro. And look at that! Zerglings finding yet another surround on the High Templar, but they only get 1. The Zealots cleaning it up. This is hard. That top left side in trouble. Right now, MAXPAX has it pinned. MAXPAX fourth base finally rebuilding over there on the right side. Zealot Hydra, or Zealot High Templar, sorry, dealing with the base. Does get rid of the Zerglings, morphs an Archon, and it's going to be Hydras versus Zealots on the left. With the Zealots are very happy to trade with those Hydras. You can see the Hydras going down. Many of them, they finally clean it up, but not before heavy losses go down. 4 base versus 4 base. Yes, the fourth is only just finished. MAXPAX doesn't have the gases up yet, but he's very happy to have the Protoss army on the Zerg side of the map, pinning the Zerg back on his side. Immortal count starts to grow. Tempers start to grow. Mothership starts to come in here as well as I accidentally... Did I just hit spacebar? Yeah, spacebar will jump you to the most recent alert, guys. It's always really useful. The default hotkey for spacebar. Should probably unbind that here on my observing profile. It's the first time in a long time I've accidentally hit that one. Let me know in the comments if you guys still use spacebar for jump to most recent alert. I remember I loved that in Warcraft 3. A game that's nice and slow paced and you build 1 unit every minute or 2 of the game, right? There's not a lot of macro going on. In a StarCraft game with 1,000 things happening at once seems like one of the most useless buttons in the game. Stalkers blink forward, take out a lurker. Feedbacks on the Vipers as well. Stasis trap freezing them up. SERRAL feeling a little claustrophobic. As MAXPAX says, as long as I delay you pushing the map, I'll get Tempest out, I'll get Mothership. And you're the one who's in trouble. SERRAL doesn't have a Spire, guys. He's just now starting +2 range. He's only got +1 melee, +1 range. So he really needs to make something happen, or he needs to go Spire. We can see, okay, Spire starts up now. He's realizing, well, if I can't push you right now, I got to do something. He's going to try and push this north side. Lurkerling, Hydra trying to jump on top. MAXPAX just going to give up ground, but he's going to do it slowly and steadily. You can see the way these Zerglings, they're baiting out storms, and they're really making it so scary for the Protoss to deal with this. Like, the way SERRAL has moved away from Banelings into a Ling Hydra into Lurker style is just so cool. He's doing it so well. And that's what's so amazing about what the next step has been in his style. Now, I think there's a clear answer to this, and I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't actually say what it is, because I do think Protoss is a little favored right now versus Zerg, just off my own feeling. And I kind of don't want to solve the solution for the Protoss players, but I think some of the guys in Twitch chat who are lower level might already know the solution. Lurker's getting good hits on this Southern army. Beautiful blinding clouds. Beautiful, beautiful blinding clouds right now. The Hydraling Lurker in the north pulls back. The Lurker's blinding, and Vipers in the bottom doing so much damage. Beautiful split bush. Beautiful split. I'm actually not joking. I legitimately think there's a really simple solution to SERRAL's style right now that actually might be needed, but it's only needed against him because he's this high level. I'll just say it, Colossus. I think you might need to get 1 or 2 Colossus in your army. If you have 1 Colossus on each side, just with its consistent damage, it might actually be amazing at shutting the Zerglings out completely, because it really feels like SERRAL is right now doing something I didn't think you could do. He's countering storms with Zergling micro. It's kind of the old Marine King countering Marines, countering Banelings with Marine splits, right? It's you're countering the unit that counters you with exceptional micro. So I think Colossus might actually be excellent. They are normally a very clunky unit, very supply heavy for the late game, but having a single Colossus just consistently deal damage without you having to burn storms so rapidly may be key. The other thing is more Archons in the mix. They're shorter range, but they will clear those units without you having to do anything special, right? You don't need to cast spells or anything like that. Now, that Warp Prism goes down in the south side. This is obviously me theory crafting in real time. I don't know if that's correct or not. I'm sure a lot of players would say, man, I can't afford 6 supply for a Colossus here, 6 supply for a Colossus here, and a range upgrade, and the Robo Bay. I mean, come on, I can just use my Archon Storm better. It's an idea. I don't know. I'm not here saying this definitely solves what SERRAL's doing. You can probably just do what you're doing here better, but watch out for the flank. The Vipers, notice how they want to come from a surprising angle, and they're going to find it. 2 Tempests are getting double yoinked. Oh, only one of them got double yoinked. Not enough Corruptors to kill it very quick. You be careful doing those sneaky moves. You do need more Corruptors than that. 7 more Corruptors are building. So far, units lost tab 2,000, still in favor of MAXPAX. And oh my, here comes Mama. Here comes Mama, the Lurkers are unburrowed. Get out of there. Time Warp right now apparently has a bug as well. Twitch chat's told me, I don't know if to believe them or not, it's meant to slow your attack speed by 40% and movement speed by 40%, I believe, the Time Warp. Apparently it's 67%. Apparently it's 2/3 reduction rather than 40% or something like that. I could be, maybe I'm getting the numbers wrong. Someone can clarify in the comments there in the Twitch chat and let us know, but apparently the Time Warp is a little bit more impactful than at least the number does read, and maybe it's been like that since all time, but because we've only seen the Mothership so much in this current patch, no one ever noticed. Chat says it's actually 69. Oh, really? Did you figure that out with your 420 calculator, Twitch chat? Yeah? Did your mom tell you that, or did you figure it out yourself? Yeah? Gah. Dude, this is a lot of Tempest. 9 Tempest, 8 Archons, 6 High Templar. This map gets really awkward for Zerg in late game because those corner bases are so hard to defend. Then again, SERRAL actually has looked like the guy who abuses the corners better than the Protoss does. He's going to go Ultra Cavern in second Evo. Getting 3-3 Ultras could be amazing. Board here, only now getting +3 on the ground. No Plasma Shield upgrades have been made just yet. And that'll really help, especially because we know Broodlords are usually a big part of SERRAL's play in the late game. The more the game slows down. MAXPAX is really good at splitting his army, but what he's got to do that we've talked about is actually pick at his opponent, use the range of the Tempests to actually do damage, right? Revelate here, pick off units. Oh, he runs his Observer in and loses it, unfortunately. Observer in the middle gets caught. Now, I'd say the one weakness of his army, he's only got 1 High Templar down here, I think. Oh, no, he has 5. They're just so full on energy, I couldn't even see them with the damaged health bars. Never mind, he's got like 10 Storms in there. This side also has 4 Psy Storms. He's doing just fine. Never mind. I was like, oh, it's a little dangerous to only have 2 Storms on one side of your base, especially if you use 2 feedbacks. That'll only leave you with 1 Psy Storm. And I check it, and of course realize I am completely wrong. MAXPAX has a perfect army split. +2 air weapons. Tectonic Destabilizers, that's the Tempest building damage upgrade. And, oh, he recalls into the middle. Okay, he's a bit obsessed with the recall reposition. I don't know if that one was really needed there, but hey, get your army together and punish this gold base. There is no way SERRAL should ever be able to mine this gold. The Archons do go a little far forward there. You got to be careful of feedbacks. That's one of the big things. Fungal lands, the Tempest, the High Templar have to guard you. Come forward and look for those feedbacks. Top base. Gonna get Lurker Burrow sieged. Very nicely done. Good moves here for SERRAL. Gonna have to send an Oracle in order to defend that. Oracle plus Zealots will be able to deal with the top Lurkers, but he hasn't dealt with the middle one just yet. And you know what's interesting? Oh, those Zealots actually went down. A few probes going down as well. And look at this. High Templar in the middle. Does storm himself, but the Lings take him out. And that base survived, which is crazy. SERRAL should not be able to mine this base. This map should be favored because Protoss should be able to deny the gold easily, control the center of the map, and then also deny the corners and eventually take one of the corners himself. But MAXPAX needs to build lots of cannons up here. If he builds like 10 cannons there, leaves a High Templar maybe as well, that could be big. He's recalling to the bottom right. You got to be careful with this sort of recall spam. The reason is Mothership's recall is off cooldown for a bit longer, and now you've got 2 minutes without being able to use that recall. I like that he's, you know, denying the corners is MAXPAX, but I really think controlling the center of the map and denying the gold is your easy path to victory. This is, I know it's only been a few days since I cast it. It's only been less than a week, I guess, this match being played since their last one. But I stand by the same criticism from the last series. If you don't take center control and deny the middle of the map, the player who has the middle is going to have the advantage in the late game. Denies that Lurker, though. I mean, MAXPAX is trading well. But remember, once the Broodlord, Lurker, Viper, and Fester comes out, SERRAL has shown a good ability to control the center of the map and pick and choose his engagements, and he's going to look for the fungal. Tempest get one. Nice revelation, but he catches a few units, recall to snap them out of there, and looks like they all get saved. Not a single Protoss unit goes down, but he does use one of his recalls for that. His whole army's in the middle. Could be a really good fight here for MAXPAX. Oracle revelation is huge. He gets a revelation. You can see once he sees that army, he can do everything he wants. The Tempest will deny this base now, and that is huge. Just deny the hatchery and take his time, but I think keep chipping away should be good. Lurker Hydra goes to the bottom right. I think it's totally okay to lose this. As MAXPAX, you could give up center control temporarily to get, like, I would probably go Cannon Battery here and Cannon Battery here. He's got 6,000 minerals, and I think this is the sort of situation where you've got MAXPAX speed and control. If we could take Harstom's obsession with building cannons in late game and just add that special source onto MAXPAX's abilities right now, I think it'd be really hard for SERRAL, but look, he's gonna get jumped on. Only part of his army down here. Massive fungals coming in. Big fungals. He did manage to feed back the Vipers before Parasitic Bomb could land. The Corruptors are kind of getting wrecked, but it is only part of the Protoss army getting isolated. I think a good withdrawal, though. That was actually a really good pullback. Now ahead, another 4,000 resources. So it's up to 8,000 total resources and units lost advantage. MAXPAX, really good fadeaway, and he's going to try to counter pressure at the same time. Not sure if that's the right call. Mama is, of course, in the bottom. Archon and Model High Templar come forward. The Observer, though, dies to those spores real quickly. These Lurkers are on hold fire. SERRAL, that's got to be a misclip, guys. He's accidentally put 3 of his Lurkers here on this base on hold fire. I'm hoping SERRAL realizes and fixes that, because that is a bit of a silly mistake there. The Archon High Templar Tempest Mothership down here on the bottom right side. Tempest's taking out the Viper. Storms and Archons smashing the Corruptors. He's got no more Storms, though. He's trying to morph Archons. The Corruptor wave jumping on top. The cannons are here. Stalkers warping in. Not the best unit for the long term, but great stutter step for MAXPAX, dude. Amazing stutter step for MAXPAX, dude. If he had that Nexus finish, he could have energy recharged and dropped a Storm as well. But you know what? Taking advantage when he can. Nice Storm on the Lurkers there for Maxi. Gets another one. Does pop the Lurker, but the Fungal catches the High Templar. Tempest chasing down the Broodlords in the south. It's a dangerous chase, though, and he does pull back. Thinks better of it. Zealots in the top left still ready. These 3 Lurkers, I believe, are all still on hold fire. I could be wrong, but we'll keep an eye. When those Zealots go in, I really don't think those Lurkers were shooting before, and I don't think Serral realizes in the midst of everything else that's happened that he's fat-fingered that button. Right now, MAXPAX, he's secured the bottom right. If he can deny the gold again, Serral is dead in the water. You can see the units lost tab, 9,000 or 8,000, 8,500 difference between the two. So not only do you have an 8,500 resource loss difference, you've got MAXPAX hasn't had his middle base denied, and he's getting a corner base, so he's mining more bases. Serral's army needs to make magic happen. He needs to make magic happen right now. Corruptors go for the Oracle Battery, helping out a little bit. Tempest damaging the Corruptors, not really killing too many as they weren't focus fired. Oh, a single Oracle's not too bad to lose there. Big ground army in the middle. Good Storm on the Zerglings. He could pull left and go for these drones on the worker line. A single Storm on those workers or a few Archon shots could be devastating. Serral pulls back. Good pullback for Serral. Storm goes down. And I think we're going to see right now 9 High Templar, 5 Archons, 2 Immortals, 13 Zealots, 8 Tempests. Top left base still solidly defended for Serral as MAXPAX starts to break the rocks. His gold base is under assault though. Serral, no Overseer out here. He's bravely moving his army in the middle. I would say this is an almost suicidal move for Serral, but I think he just realizes he needs to get something done. He needs to get something done. So he runs forward, gets some damage, and now he's going to pull back as the Tempests arrive because he can't be hanging out on the edge of range. Tempests outrange you, so you always want to be moving. Move in, shoot, fire, and fire and move. You do not stay in position because MAXPAX has the superior range. You have an army, though. With the power of Fungal, Parasitic Bomb, Abduct, you can ambush a little bit more effectively. Like, if you catch MAXPAX out, you can hold him in position. So, as Serral, you've got to be a little cheeky. You got to move around. You got to be sneaky. You got to be hard to pin down. For MAXPAX, you just need to make sure you don't get surprised, right? You just call in the friggin' the bloody A10 Warthog, man. You just call, you know, Serral's Insurgent Zerg right now. Let's put it that way. And it's Operation Protoss Freedom right now. They're just trying to liberate the Zerg. Those Lurkers are still not firing. Those Lurkers are the one on the right is, but this one on the left is not firing. That Lurker wasn't firing either. Serral with a bit of a mistake on those Lurkers. These ones, I think they were in range. Yeah, okay, they're firing now. This guy still is on hold fire though, unfortunately, I believe. Some small mistakes for Serral on those left Lurkers. It's kind of good that they're mostly got killed there, so I think he's only got one Lurker that's still left on hold fire. Broodlord, Corruptor, Infestor over here. Oracle tags the army. Here we go. Corruptor's got to pull away. Tempest going after the Corruptors. Okay, Lurker's going to run into the cannons. MAXPAX, he's defended these flanks. You can't just run 1 or 2 Lurkers in now. You're going to need a proper army to smash through those. And that's, of course, prohibited by the fact that Serral, to compete with the Skytoss army, has a very slow army. It's 14 Lurkers, 9 Broodlords to beat the ground, 20 Corruptors to beat the air, 7 Infestors, and a single Viper. I do think getting a second Viper is great. I know Rainer and a few other players have said Vipers are trash now. They are a garbage unit. I definitely think they're way less reliable than they used to. I'm not going to disagree that they're worse than they used to be. I don't even know when feedback range got changed, because I know it's like 10. Fungal is also 10, but it's very good if you can't surprise them. Like, you kind of have to come from the right angle, which is where having creep dominance over the middle is where you beat Protoss in late game. Serral does not have creep dominance over the middle. He doesn't have a Spore Forest out there. Without either of those, it's going to be hard to pick the correct fight. Fungal's landing on those High Templar Corruptor Lurker times, but the Time Warp Storm combo annihilates Serral's army. He does get a Parasitic Bomb, kills the Mothership, kills quite a lot of units, but my god, all the Corruptors and Lurkers took so much damage. You know what, though? They survived, and that's impressive. If that fight kept going, if there was like 2 more Storms and he didn't recall, I actually think MAXPAX clears that entire army insanely valuably. Insanely cost efficiently, I guess is what I'm trying to say there. As it is, units lost up still 8,000 in favor of MAXPAX. MAXPAX still has the bottom right. He hasn't been able to deny the gold very frequently, but he has a bit. There's still, what, 2,200 gas left there, whereas actually MAXPAX gas has been denied even more than that, or he hasn't been as focused on it. A few probes going to go to the top left with a single Zealot. 5 Tempests being built, going to go back to 9 Tempests. It looks like 6 more Gateways being built as well as a Dark Shrine, so 16 Gateways in case we do want to remax on the ground. Could be nice for finishing your opponent off. Center control is everything. Serral's starting to get center control with the creep. It's a ground army here. He needs the Tempests to take care of these broods. Tempests will just destroy those broods. And because the Corruptors are shorter range, you kind of have to jump on top of the enemy army in order to deal with it. Tempests are up north. I would honestly just come from two sides and sandwich this if I was MAXPAX. I would YOLO it because I'm a noob. Like, I would be like, let's go for two-side A move. It just feels like, where are the lurkers? Like, they're spread across the bases in the back. Yeah, some of them got frozen by a... I mean, I don't know. It is a lot of broods. I don't think they have enough damage to stop the storms, though. They do get a Nexus kill, 3 probes and a gas. 2 broodlords go down for that. Yeah, MAXPAX is rebuilding his 3rd mothership this game. That is correct, guys. We're going from -1200, -1200. 4 probes do go down. Top left, Nexus gets cancelled. Zealot warp-in becomes a slow warp-in. And remember, these are 3-1 Adrenal Zerglings. No +2 carapace on the way. Serral's poor, man. He can't afford +2 and +3 carapace. On the other hand, MAXPAX has really been neglecting his shield upgrades this series. And the last series. Well, I guess the last few series. He's very focused on getting, like, some upgrades. But because he's mostly just using spells and tempests, he's like, yeah, I'll add air upgrades one at a time, but he's not really caring about the little bonus plasma shield upgrades. I think he should, even though, you know, +1 shields, is it really that important? Yeah, just because it applies to air, ground, and buildings, I feel like you can't look past the shield upgrades. It'd be cool if you could only build 1 mothership. If it dies, you can't rebuild it. Yeah, also, though, it should be like the king in Age... They should make the mothership like 6,000... Hear me out, guys. 6,000 hit points, 6,000 shields, 30 supply, right? But if you lose it, it's like the king in Age of Empires 2. So if you lose the king, you lose the game. So, like, we make it, like... And maybe it can, like, summon carriers every, like, minute for free or something like that. You, like, summon 2 carriers. Like, it's got, like, some cool, like, campaign level... You know, rhyme, like Nightmare mode, you know, like Rhyme and Giant Grant Games, beautiful mod, the Nightmare mod mission. Like, you get like the mothership from the Battle Cruiser mission with the Ripfield generators, the one that just like teleports around the map, summoning armies of carrier void. So you get that, but if you lose it, you lose the entire game. I think that's a good idea, Twitch chat. I think if you guys, if I designed this game, I'm just saying, it would be content. I'm not saying it would be a good game. I'm not saying it would be fair, but there would be content, you know? I'm just like... There'd be a lot of rage. There'd be... Like, I would take the most calm, collected player and turn them into Idra. You know what I'm saying? Everyone would be raging now. Good snipe there on that carrier, man. I don't know if carriers are the play. I think carriers are a Garbo unit. Hatchery in the top left goes down as well. I mean, the carriers... just a general purpose unit. I don't think it's bad to have 2 or 3, but you don't want to focus too much on them. Denying the top left is good. Unfortunately for MAXPAX, he keeps losing that center base, and I think there's a clear answer to this, guys. MAXPAX needs to rejoin his whole army, clear these rocks, and slowly push the center of the map. But MAXPAX is addicted to playing on the corners. And the problem is, at some point, you need to reestablish the center control. Remember what I talked about? SERRAL is, if he gets creep, he was just stuck in his corner all game. Now he's respreading creep. If he gets spores out here and stuff, and if he starts to isolate part of your army because he gets to pick and choose where the fights happen, this is where things can go terribly wrong as MAXPAX. But fighting over cannon battery, is it worth it? Parasitic bomb fungal on the Tempest, the Corruptors go for the dive, the Broodlord's trying to fight. It's a brave, ambitious engagement for SERRAL, and it's one that pays off. He crushes the Tempests, and he gets out of there, dude. This is what I'm talking about. You've got to take control of the center. But Pig, there is a clear answer to this. It's Colossus. Oh, shut up. That was for earlier in the game. Obviously, he's not using Zerglings anymore, Twitch chat. Lurkers are, yeah, fungal fighting retreat. He's trying to get out of here. MAXPAX wants to make him pay for going so deep in his territory. The Broodlords are exposed. The Lurkers come up to cover his retreat. The ground army cannot chase any further. And I think at the end of that, you can see, look at this, almost even in the units lost. SERRAL beating MAXPAX up in the late game. MAXPAX needs to calm down, slow down, rebuild his Tempest, and ship it in from afar. He cannot be fighting with this army right now, though. He needs to get the Tempest up. He needs to pull back, maybe use the Zealots to buy some time, and he's really got to chill for a little bit here. He's going to drop a Zoning Storm, but he'll lose 2 or 3 High Templar for that. 3 High Templar for that Storm. Not worth, not worth. Zealots getting surrounded by Zerglings. This is really bad for MAXPAX right now. This is amazing for SERRAL, because if SERRAL can keep respreading this creep in the middle, control this middle area, deny the gold, protect his own gold to finish getting the gas there, and then he can start picking fights. MAXPAX needs to, right now, counterattack, and then the moment the Tempests are out, join his army back up and go for the middle control. Stalker Archon, High Templar, Carrier Immortal going down south. Nexus in the middle is going to get taken out. Top left side of the map, Zealot and High Templar doing really well as well. Stalker, Archon, Immortal taking out a hatchery, but he's got to get out of here, MAXPAX. He's got to go hide behind the cannons in the bottom right. He's got to pull right back. Serral's trying to broadside him. No Fungals there, and only one Viper in the back, so he should be able to get out. Broodlord's landing a few hits, though. Tempest here, MAXPAX. I think with the good Revelation control, he's only got one Oracle. I'd probably have... I think he should get a second one to protect his army would be good. He's only got 41 probes, and okay, I mean, he's got his banks mostly run out now as well, so all that bank advantage he went for. Ooh, High Templar Zealot gets jumped on. Serral's only down less than 1,000 resources, or about 1,000 resources. The unit's lost. Lurker Ling gonna break the northern base and deny a little bit of minerals here. Even just a few hundred minerals being denied could be impactful in the long run, not to mention this takes away map control for MAXPAX. Now, Serral, I thought he was going to dive the bottom base at the same time because MAXPAX is getting pulled out of position. Unfortunately for Serral, he doesn't take advantage of that, but he is continuing to make Broodlords. He realizes having a good Broodlord count to take out the High Templar and the Archons is key. He has to use the Spellcaster, the Corruptor, Viper, Infestor to defend everything else. Now, MAXPAX is getting close to Remax, but not quite there. And you can see he's afraid to move back into the center. But that is the only way to win this game, is you have to take the center off the Zerg and win the Vision War in the middle of the map. But a lot of supply in Stalkers, a little bit in Zealots. His air army's rebuilding, and I think he's waiting for Mama before he feels confident fighting again. Not sure where she came out of. Where is Mama? There she is. Mama! He's been doing a lot of sneaky recall tactics. But yeah, I mean, I don't think MAXPAX has done the same analysis that I got to do after watching them play 10 games in the last week about center control. It's also one of those things where MAXPAX can beat any other player in the world by just split armying and recalling around the map. So Serral's the one guy who might be the first time MAXPAX is encountering someone who actually, you have to go take center control to win the map. But this is like, yeah, it's center board control in a lot of strategy situations pretty important, right? It's good to do well on the flanks, but if you have no center control, your opponent can pivot to where he chooses. Oh, here we go, Neurals coming in. The Archons are breaking through the Infestors. The Corruptors spread on the north. Storm's landing on the Corruptors, but those Neurals really helping out, and MAXPAX just did not have the army supply here. The Corruptor spread is good. Serral looking so amazing. Lurkers hit the southern the base there. Mothership was not in the fight. He needed that army together. The Stalkers were never going to be that useful as a unit, but that was a huge success for Serral, who, yeah, Serral's bank is low. Maybe MAXPAX with more resources left on these bases could still come back. Income very low for both sides. MAXPAX supply very similar. He's got no Tempest, though. He's got one Tempest, two more building, and without Tempest, it's very hard. Denies a bit of Serral's map control for the cost of just one Stalker. What's Serral's army? 12 Broods, 11 Corruptors, 7 Lurkers, 3 Infestors. Serral's lost a lot of his Spellcasters. He's going to rebuild his single Viper. Only 3 Infestors is what worries me for him. How much gas has he got? Oh, he's just started mining in the top left, so that's 4,000 gas. Lurker, Spore, Broodlord defending that. He's got no gas left in the middle. No gas down here. Okay, so that 4,000 gas in the top left is everything for Serral. I mean, the minerals as well, of course. So it's basically this one base mining. Now, MAXPAX, he's mined this gas out. These gases, he's still got a lot of gas on the gold base. And 800... Okay, he's only got a little bit of gas there. So the gold base is MAXPAX's most important base right now. And the top left base is Serral's most important. If either of them loses these bases, their income is just going to drop. Oh no, Serral! He did that the other day as well. He has a hotkey, guys. A hotkey problem. I think his transfuse hotkey is the same as Microbial Shroud. He sometimes accidentally lets loose a big wave of farts, and that wastes all of his very limited Infestor energy by accidentally rapid-fire spamming some Microbial Shrouds on the ground. Big mistake for Serral. Could cost him if there's a fight in the next minute, and he doesn't have enough Infestor energy. Lurkers getting frozen by stasis traps. Cool to spot the rare mistake for Serral, isn't it, guys? You know, if you look at him playing, you can tell he feels very tense in these games. But he is one of the most patient, methodical players, and he is very, very powerful. Here we go. Storm's going down. Broodlord's going to be hitting. Oh, hello. Broodlord, Infestor, Viper, Corruptor, Broodlord, Lurker coming on forwards. Corruptor's going to go forward as well. Oracle goes down. Corruptor's diving. Getting a few snipes on those important oracles, and of course stasis traps not that useful when there's broodlings coming out and setting them off. Zergling's going to try and clear this base for free. Units lost tab, as you can see, it's now in favor of Serral by 1,000 resources, and that's just so massive, isn't it? The oracle needs to tag these lurkers. If you can tag the lurkers, the Tempest can pick away. But all going to be about that center control, which MAXPAX knows he has to do because of this gold base now. So MAXPAX is actually forced to control this middle area. He like doesn't have another option. So it's not about, and the problem now is he doesn't have the value of denying the gold base. I really thought the win condition this game would be control here, keep your gold mining, deny his gold, and then occasionally do a recall to kill a corner and then reset back to the middle. I feel like that's kind of the playbook for Protoss, which is why with a mixture of recall, tempests, and the gold bases being important, this map should be very favored for Protoss in late game. Other maps, it's not as simple. But this map, I do think it's like the most extreme example of this point that I'm theorizing. I'm not saying, oh, MAXPAX is dumb. Why doesn't he think of the thing that I get to think of freely? Because, you know, he's clicking things. He has a lot of, I know that sounds simple and trivial. He's got a lot of things to click, a lot of things to, I get to just sit here and watch and think. And I get to watch SERRAL play so many games against so many players that he doesn't necessarily have the time to watch all of those as well. Nice time warp goes down. You don't want to find a time warp usually, but I think SERRAL's like, you seem afraid of me. Why not? Does pull back for a second there. Not many infestors out. Remember, there's only 3 of them. He lands a fungal. Queen goes down. He's going to try and catch a Tempest here. SERRAL really sharking aggressively, but he does cop some storms. Oh, Viper gets feedback. He does land a parasitic bomb, though, and he's just going to dive. He's just going to dive with the parasitic bombs. The Corruptor's spready. Mama's going to cloak. She goes down. It looks like there's maybe not enough Corruptors to take out the air army, but that allowed the Broodlords to rain down death on the ground army. And look at that. He pulls back the Corruptors, transfuses the heck out of them. Look at how many Band-Aids went down on those Reddit Point Corruptors that are now quite healthy. And guys, you know your opponent feels like they're just not doing well when they start building Void Rays. Building Void Rays is, for Hero, it's making Stalkers or Void Rays in the late game. For MAXPAX, it's Void Rays. It's, oh my god, these Corruptors are doing way better than they should be. I need something that can fight them head-to-head, but of course, that ignores the fact that Void Rays are so weak to Vipers and Infestors, and, well, it's SERRAL. He's not going to give us time to get there either way, because he's coming forward. Remember, this gold base is the most important. There's still 2,000 gas to be mined on this base, but the Broodlords are on top of it. There's only 2 Tempests left. If they come forward to hit the Broodlords, then the Corruptors could go forward. He just wants to snipe the Nexus and pull back. SERRAL, oh, he didn't get the full volley off. He's got to stay there for half a second longer to launch. He keeps pulling back too quickly. You got to throw the volley. You got to move. He should have microed those Broodlords slightly further forward. If you micro your Broodlords in a little bit quicker, they'll throw that quicker. Nice abduct on the Tempest. It does go down. Viper gets punished, but the Corruptors kill the Tempest. They kill both Oracles. The Void Rays turn on their prismatic alignment with the Queens there, spamming transfuse as well. The Queen Broodlord Corruptor takes it down. And SERRAL, the king of late game. This man was born in the fires, forged in the fires of late game ZVP, back in the Void Ray meta. And you can see the experience difference between SERRAL and MAXPAX at this stage of the game. MAXPAX has gotten to the point where he is a real big problem for SERRAL. But SERRAL has realized if I drag this out to end game, positionally, I am the better player. And that is actually really awesome to see. Great trading, almost 10,000 resources more efficient at the end of the day. It's had a massive supply lead. That's like rather dominant, considering if you go back to, what, 15, 20 minutes in this game, look at the map vision, look at the map control. If I look at this at 20 minutes, I think MAXPAX, like, look at the bank. 8,000 versus 2,000 in MAXPAX favor. MAXPAX has a corner base. SERRAL can't have one. SERRAL's gold base has no creep in front of it. Like, the towers are both taken. MAXPAX had a dominant position at 20 minutes. 9,000 resources, cost efficiency advantage. And SERRAL beat him down with experience, grit, determination. And he managed to get blood from a stone. GG, well played for game 1 for SERRAL. All right, guys, going into game 2. SERRAL with an incredible game 1 victory. Looks like he's gone for that 15 Overlord again. And not sending a drone down early at all. Doesn't move the Overlord north to spot the probe this time. And MAXPAX has gone across super early, guys. So I think he had to send a second probe down to build this pylon, because he sent this probe across so fast. Now, this is a map. Classically, SERRAL does not like getting blocked here. I actually think SERRAL's going to be really annoyed at this. I think he basically gambled this game a lot more than SERRAL normally does, because what did we see the last time SERRAL played this map? He always sends a drone down and takes a 14 or 15 hatch on this map. I think he basically said, you know what, I think MAXPAX will have studied me. It would be really silly for a player who's watched me play this map, and the last 4 times I get this hatchery at 32 seconds, it's physically unblockable, even if you send a probe across at the start. Therefore, it would be really dumb for MAXPAX to send a probe, and I think he just kind of overestimated MAXPAX preparation. That would be my thing. Oh, MAXPAX called him out and said, I know you randomize things. You've done this you've done 14 hatch or 15 hatch the last 3 times on this map. You're going to play greedy and try to go 16 hatchery this time after Overlord. And of course, MAXPAX comes out on top of the opening. Gets the awkward hatchery out. You know, you can choose to just play it very, very safe and put yourself behind by default, which is what SERRAL normally does on this map, or you can cut some corners and be greedy. And what I love about these guys is MAXPAX has started to randomize his openings a bit more, which he used to just do the same thing every game. And SERRAL has been the king of winning the early game for the last many years in StarCraft, just because he studies his opponent's habits, and I feel like a lot of other players don't realize, like, oh, on this map, 90% of the time, I always do, like, I do this one thing. SERRAL will always pick up on that patterns, whereas I feel like his other opponents aren't crunching the numbers. Like, I would not be surprised if SERRAL has a spreadsheet and he just puts all these numbers of his opponents. He just goes through their games and just has, like, a checklist. It would make sense, and I think a lot of the other players would be shocked if they actually found out SERRAL's process. Now, it might just all be in his head, right? But in which case he has a spreadsheet in his brain, let's be real. But I think it's one of those things that's very natural for anyone who's done high-level coaching for any sort of competition. Of course, I mean, if you're a paid coach, you're gonna be crunching the numbers and finding these stats. But because StarCraft's obviously not a massive prize pool game, we're not looking at hundreds of millions of dollars every year going into it, and you don't have these full-time coaches. I've said the main advantage SERRAL has had over the last few years, and why he's the greatest player of all time, why he's evolved his play to that next level, is purely for one reason, and that is he is his own coach, and he coaches himself better than anybody else. And you can tell he's studied those little details and has those little preparation things, which allow him to save overlords on 7 hit points on the regular. Like, his early game positioning is just so out of this world. His build order choice so out of this world. This is one of the rare times where he's, you know, got his expansion blocked on a map. He didn't want to have it blocked. But even then, great scouting, keeps the overlord alive, and he's just got everything down, pixel perfect, you know? Now, don't get me wrong, MAXPAX is a freak, guys. He is a freak. He's incredibly good. I don't want to be just glazing SERRAL too much. He does deserve it, though. Definitely deserves it. Third Nexus going up as well. Got some more drones coming. Third hatchery coming up. Second gateway's on the way after third Nexus. I like the greedy build for MAXPAX into the third and fourth gas. Good way to play against SERRAL. Clem showed us in those ladder games, man. If Clem with his off race can go 50-50 with SERRAL in a bunch of games, then who knows what MAXPAX can do. Oh, good dance. Good dance for MAXPAX. He finds a drone, takes very little damage, and a bit of mining time. I mean, this is just MAXPAX doggedness with hanging around and looking for it. Ooh, Robo Twilight, guys. We're going Charger Model style. He's going to go Archon drop into Charger Model. Cool. Good change up for MAXPAX. Roach Warren is on the way. SERRAL will probably get forced into Roach play against this. When SERRAL gets forced into Roach play, he will be tempted to do a German taxi. To make 2 Dropper-Lords, fill them with Queens, and just go. Because if you already force him to make some Roaches, make Roach speed, and delay droning his 4th, he will be very tempted to commit to that push. He started Burrow and cancelled it just then. I think that was a misclick. 2 gases do go down. Oracle dancing around the front. Zergling also hanging around the front. This is a quick lair, guys. Pretty quick 5 gas too. Is it just me, or are you guys expecting a Spire? I don't know why I'm expecting. Oh, the Overlord did sacrifice. Okay, sorry. The Overlord came in, and he saw. I don't know what hell is there here. Is it the gateway time? I guess he's only seen 1 Oracle. Having seen no second Oracle, he knows it's charge, and he knows Spire's really good against this style. Look for the Spire, guys. Look for the Spire. 4th hatcheries are coming up in the top. Ling's poking around. He starts Roach speed. He's still not sure what's happening. Sees a probe coming out. He's going to try to grab that, but he misclicks. Doesn't go for the Spire. I guess he doesn't have enough gas for it. Fair enough. Doesn't have the 6 gas down yet, so we can't afford it. He's just playing defensive. SERRAL's worried about there being a big charge Archon timing, which is exactly what MAXPAX is going for. He's built a Warp Prism. Now he starts the Observer. +1 attack now starting on the Forge. 2 Adepts coming in the north. Roaches pop at the perfect time. Meanwhile, Archon drop comes in on the south, gets an Overlord. Roach Queen is ready. Adepts are going to shade. Roaches are on it, though. Yeah, Roaches will shut that down. The Overlord, the Archon drop pulled back. Good Spore trick. And look at that overlord speed. I told you guys. Did I not tell you guys? If you force him to build a bunch of roaches defensively, he's going to be tempted to go for the German taxi. We've got a dropper lord loading up. Yeah. This because it's such a good reactive attack here. It's such a good reactive attack. It's such a nice way to punish this sort of play. Thank you, Zombie Grub, for the raid. Hope you had a great stream playing Godsworn. What a fun game, by the way. You guys like Age of Mythology and Warcraft 3? There is an RTS in early access called Godsworn. I played the demo of yesterday. Check that one out. She was playing that just before. It's really made with some soul. Crazy that 2 dudes are the heart of that project. The only 2 full-time workers on it. Here we go. Roaches coming forward. Queen drop coming as well. Where is that queen drop? It's a little further behind, but 3 queens all you need to deal with 1 oracle. It's a mass roach all in. The real trick is the stasis traps. You've got to deal with these stasis traps. That natural wall off. No sentry on the high ground? Whoa, no sentry in the natural. What are you doing, MAXPAX? He runs forward and traps it with a force field from the low ground, which is crazy. But it kind of pays off. The Immortal and the Cannon and the Zealots in the natural are actually doing really well. That Immortal holding the natural wall. Oh, damn. I didn't realize the Chaticus Maximus, the Immortal, was here. That sentry's a little late, but pushing in. The sentry's going to trap him. Oh, that pylon going down could be huge. The pylon barely survives there. Archon's up top. Getting saved by the stasis trap. SERRAL pushing on top. I think MAXPAX might be able to hold. I don't know. It's so close. This supply is still crazy in favor. But look, the Zealot Immortal comes in from the north. All the Archons are alive in the top. But the army's now a little separated. Oh, the Prism, though, pulls back behind the wall off. He can ferry those Immortals back to the low ground, potentially trying to pull back his units to safety. SERRAL's focus fire is pretty brutal. The Zealot Immortal doing really well. I don't know how SERRAL's supply is still so high. It feels like this has been the perfect micro from MAXPAX to defend this attack. And yet, here we go. Those Immortals finally waddling down from the high ground. They are a little bit exposed. It's so hard when you're defending on 2 sides, because if SERRAL can isolate the Immortals away from the Warp Prism, where it can't save them, that can be a problem. He barely saves the Archon. The Immortals from the natural doing so much. Dude, the Prism micro has been out of this world. MAXPAX right now still just building 1 Immortal at a time. This hold was all a fun, Robo. Hats off to him for chronoing those Immortals as well as he did. Here we go, trying to pull back. The Biles are there as well. Roach Ravager hanging out. Nice force field. Well, it doesn't actually do that much, that force field. I thought it was going to be more effective. Immortal comes in from the natural, and this is excellent defense for MAXPAX. Remember, MAXPAX is up 10 workers. Even though the trading's very similar, SERRAL doesn't have much of a follow-up. He didn't even get +1 range this game. This is +1 Immortals. Biles do take out a sentry there. MAXPAX trying to keep his forces together. He's got an Observer. He can get rid of the creep. That would be good. SERRAL still rallying mass Roach Ravager. +1 range, and 2 more queens are building behind it. He's got 3 queens, 4 bases. SERRAL should be transferring his workers out of his main to his 4th, but he hasn't remembered to do that. Oh, yes, he has. He's just done it. They're on the way right now. Sentry gets focused down by the Roach Ravager. And you can see those drones transferring as we speak. Oh, the Immortals got to pull back the Immortals. Okay, pulls back the Archons, pulls back the Immortals. Save them, save them, save them. MAXPAX micro gets out of the scary spot, but SERRAL is going to go for the 3rd. Takes out the cannon with a single volley. No, not quite enough to take it out with a volley. Damn. Roach Ravager, not the high damage units that you'd love them to be, right? If a Roach did the damage of a Hydralisk and kept its hit points and armor, that would be a little bit insane. That little vulture gets a little bit confused. The Urubu, who are you? Urubu. Let them Zealots go down with their hands of blue. Immortal Archon, Zealots pulling back as well. 6 Immortals, 2 Archons, few Zealots. He's still warping in sentries for that Guardian Shield and potential Force Field, especially with energy recharge. The Oracle did die earlier, didn't it? Yeah, it did. 73 probes to 57. If he can get a new base up, that'll be huge. MAXPAX trying to Zealot counterattack, but the Overlord sees it. SERRAL, does he try to take advantage and push in right now while there's no Zealots at home? Tries to bile the battery, doesn't quite get it with enough biles. He needs to split his army. SERRAL leaving himself wide open in the north. He's so all in. Is he just going to give up the northern base? SERRAL tunnel visioning on the front. I don't think he realized the Zealots were there, but MAXPAX just F2'd those Zealots home. That might be a mistake. I think those Zealots could have really forced SERRAL's hand. He sends them back across. Oh, microing like hero right now is MAXPAX. F2 A move, back and forth, splitting it up. The Zealots do split up into multi-prong. Roach Queen trying to hang out. Roach Ravager coming forward right now. More Archon Storms. High Templar, Sentries trying to come in. Zealots will run into the natural in the north. They find a few drones up there. The Roach Ravager's going to try to punish. SERRAL runs forward. Archon at the front will go down. No, it gets saved at the last second. The force field's making it really awkward right now for SERRAL. MAXPAX dodges most of the biles. He's looking pretty good as MAXPAX. He's looking solid. The Zealots only got 2 drones. More Zealots trickle in. SERRAL's multi-prong has been insane. His ability to handle all this has been crazy. Dude, feels like MAXPAX, he has a better army, but SERRAL's out microing him, using the multi-prong. Like, those Zealots are meant to make the Zerg make mistakes, but instead it felt like it made MAXPAX make mistakes as he tried to focus on more areas at once. And he just can't get a fourth up right now. His income will start dwindling if he can't get the fourth. So he takes the fourth on the front. SERRAL, 55 drones, as all in as they get. He's only up, he's up 60 army supply, double the army supply. But as Storm comes in now, I think he's kind of run out of room in this game. Dude, the Biles, so many Biles. Dude, saving the Archons though, big Storm on the Roaches. And this is the thing, is that range advantage of the Ravagers, and especially with Corrosive Bile, can, if you make a few micro mistakes, cause you some problems. You got to pull back, use the Prism, use the Storms to zone. Good hot pickups here by MAXPAX, who's now about 400 resources out of the units lost as more Zealots try to go forth. Anything to buy time to get up more Storms, more Immortals, will allow MAXPAX army to scale. If SERRAL ever stands and fights, by the way, guys, you might be thinking, how is this so close? If he ever stands and fights, he will get obliterated by Storm Immortal. But that's why he's being so coy. That's why he's poking in and poking out. Zealots coming on the top side. Roachling should be close enough to deal with it. Roaches in the top try to run in the base. MAXPAX shuts it down. Zealots forcing a burrow, but the Roaches, you can tell that's enough Roaches now to clean it up. Storm lands on the Roach Ravager on the front. SERRAL keeps looking for the pickoffs, can't quite find him. Probes there trying to move out. They can't find their way out. MAXPAX just trying to avoid the Corrosive Biles. We are watching SERRAL right now try to blot out the sky with his arrows. The Zerg Horde coming forwards. Unfortunately for him, these are a bunch of Spartan, Immortal, Archon, High Templar. They are holding their shield wall strong. They're all in, I don't know, man. That's not even a good enough analogy. The Spartans had pretty crappy armor. These are like full plate mail, I don't know, 16th century knights. You know, this is like heavy cavalry. Oh, does eat some big Biles. Well, okay. If you're not careful enough, the militia with pikes and longbows will eventually be able to take you down. Careful, careful, mate. Roaches unburrowed behind the mineral line. Very nice, very nice. It was the Persians who had Immortals, you fool. Except they weren't really that immortal, were they? Aye. They didn't have a hardened barrier. They had a hardened something else, if you know what I'm talking about. No, I'll stop. Immortals cleaning up the counterattack. The Prism in the main. It feels like MAXPAX finally is going to be able to dictate what's going on. He's just survived for long enough. And that Prism down here in the main, warping in more Zealots. Roaches have to split. This allows MAXPAX, for the first time in a while, to be the one in the driver's seat, picking and choosing where the fights happen. SERRAL is so good at cleaning up these Zealots, dude. He's so good at splitting his army, but look at that. The sneaky Prism's still down there in the main. It's in the edge of the main base. You got to deal with it. And here comes the big army on the front at the same time. Oh, Storm's going down on top. I did like the Immortals in Civ 6. They get to like shoot arrows and fight in melee. It's like a ranged melee unit. Very cool unit for Persia. Zealot, Stalker, Immortal, High Templar, Archon. Roach Ravager trying to still fight, or 50 workers. SERRAL right now, guys, is trying to basically win through stress. If he can just put MAXPAX through the ringer, MAXPAX might panic and make some mistakes. He's looking to like overload MAXPAX, and he's basically doing as many opportunities to force MAXPAX to multitask, to fight hard, and he's giving himself opportunities to take advantage of mistakes. There's no Storm left. The Ravager's going to dive on top. They kill 3 Immortals. They're going to kill even more. This is a huge move. Roaches come from behind as well. He's going to take out so many of these Immortals. That is a massive win for SERRAL. What the hell, dude? The Stalker Archon up top don't quite get the base either. Dude, if he keeps his 4th base alive and catches the Archon, this is actually insane. Zealots are still down there. That Prism being a big old bag of Protoss jangles right now. The Roaches trying to chase. They do have to pull back in the north. SERRAL, this is insane. He is fighting like Raynor at his peak. This is 2021 Raynor in the shoes of SERRAL. This is crazy. Like, this is the sort of thing Raynor, when we called him the comeback kid, used to do every single game in series. He'd be down 0-2, and he'd just win games with Ravager Micro and multi-prong and forcing mistakes out of his opponent. Like, this is... MAXPAX right now is in such a stressful position because he knows he's been winning for 8 minutes, but he's, like, still trading evenly pretty much with a guy who's just building Roach Ravager, when he's got Immortal Archon Storm, the army that is meant to be so much better on paper. But SERRAL says, yeah, it's better on paper, but it's only better if I stand and fight. I'm going to refuse to stand and fight. I'm going to make you split your army up, get those weaknesses here and there, but unfortunately, SERRAL leaves his top base unguarded. I mean, SERRAL's still dead, almost certainly, guys. What we're watching is a guy with 1 broken arm and 1 broken leg tackle the Protoss player and make it look like a close fight when he has no business doing so. I mean, we are watching a guy who's had both eyes gouged to the point where he's blind, and he's running around just kicking at the air, making his opponent sweat with his just absolute raw savagery. Despite that, MAXPAX does hold on and win that game. Very good hold. I loved his early defense with the Warp Prism over here. Perfect defense for MAXPAX. Holds on and ties up the series 1-1. All right, well, that was a crazy game too. MAXPAX gets the win though, and I got to say, I think it's very important to get that confidence boost of stopping one of those attacks. Because if SERRAL can kill you in the late game and he can kill you with timing attacks, you're kind of stuck in that position where you're like, well, I lose this part of the game and this part. Like, I just need to play better, right? Whereas now, MAXPAX is like, okay, maybe I can just focus more on being a bit better in the late game. And I think he's already consistently been getting in good spots in his games. But, you know, on a strategic level, if it was any match against anyone else, I'd say, hey, MAXPAX, shouldn't we mix in some sort of all-in? You know, shouldn't we do something really, like, committed to kill him? And then I think about who he's playing, SERRAL, and how good his scouting's been in this series, and I'm like, yeah, nah. Like, maybe if you have one of those fancy 2 Stargate Tempest builds after 3rd Nexus. I like the one where you go 3rd Nexus, double gas, then drop the 2nd Stargate Fleet Beacon pretty early. I think that one's really surprising. It's not nearly as committed. Or even the Clem build. The Clem build, he was going 3rd base into Fleet Beacon, building like 1 or 2 Tempests, or 3 Tempests, but all off 1 Stargate. And he would just go for the standard Blink style afterwards. So I liked that because it's such an awkward build to respond to. Like, it was kind of like, hey, you got to deal with these Tempests, but I'm not really committing to them. But I haven't seen MAXPAX do that before. I think MAXPAX might just focus on his solid play, and no reason not to on ley lines. This is another map where if you split your army, how does SERRAL ever secure this base and this base? Base center control on this map, it's going to ruin SERRAL. He's going to get 4 bases, and then he's just stuck. This 5th base, really hard to defend. Even this 4th base down here is really hard. Sorry, this 5th base. So you'll be stuck on 5 base with this 5th base. Sorry, this 5th base, this is his 4th base usually, but the 6th base there, down here, all these middle ones, really hard for Zerg to defend from split Tempest control and center control. So love to see MAXPAX kind of level that up throughout this series. Now, one thing about MAXPAX is if we do keep getting to late game, I actually think SERRAL might manhandle him. And my prediction for this would be simply because in the past, I don't see MAXPAX learn within a series very quickly. Like, you know, like a guy like Hero sometimes can just like totally mess up and look like the worst player of all time for 1 or 2 games. And he can try something so drastically different because his range is so wide and start just winning and he turns series around from down 0-2 all the time in weekly cup finals. I don't know if MAXPAX really has that in him because MAXPAX is more of like a solid thousands of reps sort of player. So sometimes when you're watching him, you kind of want to see him change his game up quickly in the moment. And it's not really MAXPAX style. It's more his style to just play better within the same range of stuff. And the thing is, if you're trying to just do the same thing better, it's such a small incremental increase in your execution each game where, you know, it might take him a few weeks of playing these sort of matches to really make the adjustment. And we'll see. I think he's definitely got to change something up if he gets to late game again, does SERRAL. On the other hand, SERRAL, do you want to play late game on this map? You got beat by Australia here, who you normally do really well versus. You've been beating, you know, a lot of players have been giving you trouble on this map. He might want to play a bit more conservatively himself. Or not conservatively, I should say, but maybe go for a big attack and stop it getting there. Like Spire, maybe. Spire could be a way of forcing this to be more of a mid-game battle, right? Get MAXPAX on the defensive. Talking about Spire in that last game, didn't end up using it, so he hasn't shown Spire yet in the series, and I think going for a Spire Mutalisk play once in a series is pretty much always a good idea to keep Protoss on their toes. Spore comes up in the natural. You can see he's escorting the drones to that 3rd base. Brilliant map vision here for SERRAL. Look at this map vision, guys. You can see the only hole is down here to the bottom right, and he's got a creep tumor there that he's actually spreading in that direction. Oh, I love that creep. MAXPAX should stop it, though. Yep, he sees it. And he does manage to stop it. All right, Queen's going to move back out, spread that creep again. Oracle looks for the tag, but actually takes a bunch of damage. Robo Twilight comes in afterwards. Oh, same style as last game. He's once again doing single Oracle into Archon drop, guys. Ooh, okay. +1 melee is coming in super early for SERRAL to stop Blink. +1 melee is not good against this build. You're much better off going for like range and stuff. I'm doing it's not terrible. You're better off going for range, going for more roaches, trying to rush a Spire, another play we talked about in the last game. But he does not realize what's going on. Let's go to SERRAL's vision, because he's got an Overlord going in right now, and we want to see what he picks up on. 4 50, he goes for the lair. SERRAL's been very good at not delaying his lair too long. Oh, he almost gets the Oracle. Sees the Twilight finish, sees another gateway. He sees another gateway, and it's 5 minutes, and he's only seen 1 Oracle. No Void Ray, no second Oracle. He should know what he's up against at this point. Sometimes it's not what you see, it's what you don't see at this level. And I think SERRAL should be aware of what's happening. I would expect roach speed as soon as his lair is done to pop up. Go back to everyone's camera, because lings are coming in. Looking for a probe. They find a probe. Very nice. Doesn't even lose a Zergling there. He's lost 1 Overlord, 2 Zerglings, and 1 drone as the Oracle grabs one on the way back. Archon's going to morph on the front line. He's going to morph those Archons right there. Zerglings could get a bit of damage, and indeed they will, but the Oracle is close behind them. Oh my god, you don't want to lose an Archon. SERRAL doesn't want to sacrifice any more Zerglings either. Doesn't think he's going to get the kill. Lair's almost up. He's on 5 gases right now, is SERRAL. He's got enough gas for a Spire and Roach speed if he chooses to, but with no Roaches out just yet. Just Queens and Zerglings. His first 2 Roaches starting. He's just going to start Roach speed to begin with. I would not be surprised to see a Spire popped up. Probably here in the main. Adepts into the natural. Hello! He does go for a drone surround, and he wants to pull those drones away now to let the Zerglings surround. 3 drones go down at the same time. Archon drop in the main, and they're going to find a Queen. Good catch. Even body blocks her. 3 more Queens are being built, so it's just pure Queen Roach right now. Feels like SERRAL has no aggressive timing. No, he's going to make it Overlord drop again. He's going to do the same build. It's later, though. It's much later. Like, remember, it's 57 drones, the last one. This is going to be a maxed out one that'll hit at 8 minutes. Maybe 7.5 minutes. He's just going to be hitting with an immense amount of Roaches. Now, what he needs to do is he needs to show drones on that base. So he is building a few more workers. But I think he should transfer workers over there, because look at this. The Observer sees the Roaches coming out. He sees no drones coming. Let's go to MAXPAX vision. MAXPAX should realize what's on. We're on his camera right now. Second Robo's on the way. Storm starts up. Storm, if you can get it ready, will help a lot. He sees it. He should know exactly. Yeah, he recalls the Prism. He knows what's happening. Cannons are going down. He's building more stuff. The Zealots should probably counterattack, because they're not going to help that much in the fight, whereas they could buy time. If you send the Zealots to go counter, they could be really big. Cannons, will they get time to get up? The Ravagers morphing on the front. The Roaches are coming. The German taxi. It's not even a taxi, guys. He's going to lay down the purple creep. Uh-oh. It's the red carpet build or the purple carpet build. He's just going to lay down the carpet and run forward. Storm, halfway done. Second Robo, almost finished. Cannon battery goes up in the natural as well as at the third base. Stasis traps are there, but he's not guarding them. First Zerglings, though. Bunch of Zerglings do get frozen. Immortal in the natural as well as a Sentry. I love the preemptive Sentry. Really well done. The Queen Roach Ravager are going to try and micro this out. SERRAL with a massive army on the front. Zealots run in, but there are Roaches there to deal with it. Biles get dodged. I don't think those Zealots are going to cause much damage as the Biles come forward, take out the cannon. Cybercore will fall very quickly. That's a great way, breaching the wall. I love the way SERRAL's so calm with these builds. Doesn't overcommit at all. Lings try to get in the natural. Gets a few of them on the worker line. Got to pick off these gateways. There are 8 gateways right now. Zealots get cleaned up. That means the Roaches are finally going to continue to start reinforcing. Biles landing on an Archon and a cannon. 2 cannons going down there pretty quickly. Storm is finished. Storm is finished. But it looks like energy recharge has not been used, and he's not saved up any of that Storm energy. There we go. Energy recharge goes down. Storm lands on the Ravagers. Stasis trap saving some of them. 3 Immortals are on that left side. 2 Immortals building at a time. But if this army on the right gets caught, that could be a problem. Big Storm on the rallying Roaches. 3 of them go down. Already 14 probes have fallen. Massive damage here. That's going to force MAXPAX to stand and fight. He has to defend his worker line. The Immortals come forward. Great dodges on the Biles. That army on the right side is getting exposed, though. The Immortal up front, he's got to save the Immortals and the Archons. He's got to pull them back. Oh, he had a probe inside. He couldn't save one of the Archons. The Archon there should get picked up behind that. There's a couple of Immortals and Archons falling behind the gateways. Such nice micro here for MAXPAX. Probes getting biled in the mineral line a little bit. 34 have gone down. There's still Lings in the natural. There's still Lings in the natural. I was like, why are his probe count disappearing so fast? He's so focused on the micro at the front. The Zerglings have killed every worker in his natural. Oh no. I thought he might just barely hang on. But dude, oh, and remember, Immortals did get nerfed a little bit. They don't attack as fast as they used to. They're a little cheaper on the minerals, but they do not attack as fast as they used to. So they are a little bit weaker in this scenario. MAXPAX finally realized, warped in some Zealots and cleaned up the Zerglings. If he had his natural mining, I think he might have been able to get out of this, but losing 10 plus workers on his third and losing every worker in his natural is a disaster. Oh, damn. SERRAL sneaking those Lings in the natural is game-winning. The Storms, massive Storms, dude. Warps in the Archons. Can't pick up the Archon while it's morphing, though. That Warp Prism's so close to dead. Nice Warp Prism micro, but there's just too much units here, not to mention the creep spread on the front line. The Immortals starting to fall, as are the probes on that long-distance third. And what a disaster there for MAXPAX. Great win for SERRAL, who shows I can still win with this push. Let's go back and monitor these Zerglings from start to finish, guys. So you're going to see at this point, remember, he breaks the gateway, the Zerglings get clicked in there, and this is all SERRAL does, right? Clicks the Zerglings in. Oh no, few of them run into those guys, die. And I don't think he micros this at all. Oh, but if MAXPAX warps in one Zealot here, which I guess he does. How does that Zealot... Does that Zealot... Oh, the Zealot loses because the battery's out of energy, though. He warps in a Zealot, so he notices it. He warps in a Zealot, thinks, yeah, that'll deal with it. Kills 2 of the Zerglings. The other 2 survive. Oh, no. Okay, go back to regular game speed. Oh, my gosh. Oh, no. Oh, this is so tragic, man. Oh, he's so focused on the front because it's such a frantic situation defending from 2 sides. And you can see that the Zerglings aren't even being watched. They keep changing targets because it's just the AI attacking whatever's next to them, right? Oh, my lord. Oh, my gosh. And we fast forward here. And he's going to kill the entire worker line before MAXPAX realizes. You've got so much sound, so many attack alerts. It's very easy in these tense moments to not notice this. And indeed, there we go, guys. The pair of Zerglings killing 10 workers plus each. Yeah, they put 10 workers on one, 11 on the other, I think. 11 and 11. 22 probes between those 2 Zerglings. That's brutal. It still would have been close either way, but that is just super brutal. You could tell the fights, if there was a few more units warping in, producing, maybe, just maybe, this is a different game. GG, well played. All right, guys. What the heck is going on? MAXPAX just barely not able to... I mean, well, no, he got kind of overwhelmed pretty hard, but if he'd noticed those lings, I think that would have been a very close battle. Now, is this just SERRAL's answer to a Zealot opening? I think it might be. So I think... Remember, he opened melee last game, so it's not like he was perfectly set up for it. He wasn't banking on that. It was a reactive all-in, and this is the beauty of SERRAL as he goes for a 15 hatchery there. Yeah, I mean, he does... This is SERRAL's greediest build, is he'll go out there, if he sees a probe, he'll build the 15 hatch. If he doesn't see a probe, he builds one more drone, then builds the hatchery. So I don't know what MAXPAX was hoping for with this probe timing. It's never going to actually catch him and block his expansion. You need to go a few seconds earlier to block this base. So slight mistake there for MAXPAX on a map like Ultralove. You need to go 13 pylon is probably the most efficient way to get across the map. Maybe he did go 13 pylon. Maybe I can check after the replay. But we'll see how we go. For now, I do think that's the joy of SERRAL, is he doesn't just pick his all in before the game. A lot of players do that because they want to have the most optimized start to hit an attack. But then, of course, you know, they might run into a counter build and they just go, I'm just going to try, keep going. It's not working. SERRAL will spot that his opponent at 5 minutes has only built an Oracle and then is going for, you know, oh, you're going for Archon. Okay. You're going to go Zealots. You never go Blink with an Archon drop. You always go Zealots. Zealots aren't very useful into a giant ball of Roach Queen, right? So if I just go for this push, I can hit you at a weak spot before you get enough Immortal Archon Storm, and your Zealot Warpins are not going to save you. Cybercore going up in the natural, very standard opening. This map has some decent choke points. I guarantee you MAXPAX is playing Blink now after that last game. I mean, I actually think what I would love is him to do the same build. If he goes single Oracle into Immortal, you know, Archon again, because like he held it the first game, the second game he didn't notice the probe. I think just do the same build and be even more ready for it. And my question for you guys is, do you skip Storm? I actually think going for Storm was the right call. And the reason for this is energy recharge gives so much value, and it was a later push. If it's the first push, you can't get Storm against that immediately, or you shouldn't be focusing on it, right? It's something you add after defending the first wave, and the second wave, and you're fighting the second and third wave off, right? But in that second attack, it was like more of a... It wasn't a 57 drone timing, it was a 67 with a fourth base, much later attack. I say much later, about a minute later, but a minute later is a lot of time in StarCraft. And with that attack, the Zerg can take his time. SERRAL was like slowly breaking the wall, spreading creep out front of the base. If you don't get Side Storm, he can kind of just pick away at you with that Ravager range and those Biles, and it's really hard to engage, but Side Storm will punish that Zerg for being so clumsy. So I think Storm is the right call against the later German taxi / Queen Walk sort of builds. Against the earlier ones, skip this. You don't have time for it. Just defend with Archon Immortal, use the Prism Micro, and go from there. Third base is going to come up here just before 3 minutes 40. Very smooth build. Notice his wall off still open. He'll build that second gateway over there a bit later. And here comes the first Oracle. Doesn't quite find that creep tumor. It manages to plant itself in time. He could go back for it later if he wants to use a Revelation. And indeed he will. Creep tumor on the left does survive though. Notice he leaves the laser on because he wants to get the lava, but he's almost out of energy. So he turns it off, pulls back, second oracle comes out. Hasn't used an energy recharge on either. This one's going to go for harass. This one will come home, fill up on energy. It's just rotating those oracles, and it's triple oracle, guys. And that already tells us what the build is. The moment you see this second oracle, you drop an Evo chamber. In the near future, you go melee because you know you're playing against the Stalker follow-up. So unless MAXPAX does the Foracle build, the hero, you know, 4 oracles into Glaive Adepts or charge lots or whatever it is, does like the 2 gas timing, which hero did make look very good. Serral goes Roachhorn and Lair. No Evo just yet. He's not going to rush it. Fair call. Why does MAXPAX keep opening with the oracles if Serral never lets him do much? He still picks off drones, he's forcing queens, he's forcing spores, and they keep you safe against everything. He just got a queen there as well, gets a queen in the open. So not only is he slowing down the creep and picking off the odd drone, couple Zerglings here or there, it completely protects his third base, so it allows him to do the greediest build in the game. Notice he's got 2 adepts and 50 probes almost here. You can't do this without oracles. It's a very good question, because sometimes you look at it and you go, well, there's no damage happening. Remember, damage at pro level is not direct. It can be direct damage, but just as often it's you forcing things out of your opponent. It's you allowing yourself to get away with things. So the trades aren't always as direct as they might be in our games. Oh god, this is huge damage. 3 probes, 4 probes, 5 probes, and the Lings get out. Oh my gosh. MAXPAX caught off guard there a little bit. Does manage to grab a drone on that side, but 2 drones for 5 probes. Great start. Serral, he's got an Evo chamber finishing. He's feeling himself right now. He's got momentum in this series. He goes range and roach speed. Is he going to roach max again? Either an infestation pit goes down in a moment in this main base, or he's going to go roach max. He doesn't have the gas for it right now. He's still just adding his gas. His Hydra Den goes down. Whoa! Serral feels so good about the start. He's going to go for a roach Hydra attack. He'll try to go lurkers behind it, but he's going to commit pretty hard, probably off 72 workers. I would not be surprised to see one more round of drones come out, but he could even do this off 66 drones if he really wants to commit super hard. Oracle's going to take out a few tumors. And that's pretty good. Force a lot more energy out of those queens to replace that. So it's a bit of an energy battle between the queens and the oracles. Nice move by MAXPAX. Zerglings on the front trying to pick off rallying probes. Not quite able to. It is, of course, 4-gate blink. Or actually 6-gate blink behind this as the extra gases come down. Templar Archives going to drop and Lings are on the way. Hydra upgrades are on the way. It's Roach Hydra against Stalker Storm. Normally a matchup where I think Stalker Storm can do okay, but it feels like Serral is going to commit so hard to this of 66 workers. He's just going to, if he gets like a few Stalkers caught on his side of the map, or if he just gets a really good angle where, you know, MAXPAX isn't perfect on his defense, because the early game has gone pretty well for Serral. Yes, he's traded worse, but remember, he's been ahead on the workers. His income is grown ahead of MAXPAX. MAXPAX now caught up on the income, but it's late. It's going to take a while for Storm to kick in. It's going to take a while to recover. He's got a cannon and battery there. Templar Archives just now finishing. Stalkers fighting roaches on the front, just skirmishing. Robo's coming down behind. No Psy Storm started just yet. Got to start that Psy Storm. Got to start it soon. It does start right now. Stalkers started stepping in the midst of this. Nicely done. Oh, look at that Link counter attack with a few roaches. Causing maybe a recall. Doesn't have energy there. Uh-oh. Oh gosh, he's in troubles. Roach Link counterattack. This is going to cause so many problems for him. Stalks and Adepts coming in from the third base. Probes trying to run away. Stalkers on the front trying to fight at the same time. Very hard to micro 2 places at once. A couple of Roaches and Hydras go down. Probes go back to mining. Oracles are there with their energy. The Lings and the Roaches going to try to go into the main to find more damage. A couple of Lings get frozen, but the Lings setting off the stasis traps on their own. The Hydras and Roaches are coming. Serral ain't going to wait. Serral's going to go. Serral's going to go. He knows he's got MAXPAX on the ropes. The Oracles just used all of their remaining energy. Stalker's getting picked off in the main. It is go time for Serral. He's got momentum. He may not have groove spines yet, but he just killed 12 more workers. And MAXPAX up against the ropes. He's had a bad start this time. A little bit shaky after that last game. Serral not giving him a moment to get situated, not giving him time, and continuing to show his range as he goes for one of these Korean-style 66 drone Roach Hydra timings. He's going to go for the third base. He says, come down that ramp into the open if you want to fight me. I am not going up your natural ramp. No reason for me to do that. Doesn't have an overseer. He's got to watch out for the big stasis trap on that left side. He does bile. He spots. How did he see that? Oh my god, his eyeballs are so bloody crisp. He spotted the stasis on the left side next to the gas, biled it down. Roach Hydra doing massive damage. The probes are exposed. The cannon goes down. The Roach Hydra started stepping. He starts to isolate the army on the right. It blinks back, so he goes to the army on the left. They blink back, so he goes back to the right. No, he continues chasing the left army down. One more bile could be big. One more bile could be big. Single Roach sets off the stasis trap. Bile still on the right side, forcing those Stalkers away. Blinking back to the high ground is MAXPAX, trying to retreat behind the Nexus, but the Hydra ball stuttering around like a ball of savage Zerg death. The needles flying out of those Hydra's heads. The roaches vomiting acid saliva all over the Nexus. And that forces the probes to be pulled. The Stalkers have to fight. The Nexus goes down. The Stalkers here, not in great enough numbers to withstand this avalanche. Psystorm is done, but it's not enough. And SERRAL dominating another series against MAXPAX, showing his range as a player, wins an epic late game in game 1, and then he doesn't have to use late game again for the rest of the series. That is awesome to see. He knew how hard that first game was. He did not want to just rely on that late game. He also doesn't want to give MAXPAX a lot of practice in that late game. He gets a 3-1 victory, and MAXPAX taking a bit too much damage in the early game there after going back to the Triple Oracle Stalker build. What a beautiful series from SERRAL, and establishing dominance in the matchup once again. GG, well played. You guys enjoyed the series? Don't forget to check out our Patreon. Links down below in the description if you want some cool perks and rewards, and just to show a lot of support for the channel if you find yourself watching a lot and you can spare a few dollars. Big thanks to Border for Life and everyone here who's already on the Wall of Bacon. Thank you so much for the support. We'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye and good night.